Okay, so now we're going to really break down this film. We're just going to go over the entire plot. Spoiler alert. This movie is...
Spoiler alert.
People might be looking forward to this.
Okay,
this movie is insane. This movie...
We were having...
We were having fun.
The three of us were having a blast.
Logan was with us. He's not doing the review with us, though. But this movie was just so effortless in such a funny way. Usually that's kind of depressing, but this was kind of... I don't know. I just had fun with this. This was just so bad. It was so dumb. One of the shining things is Forrest Whitaker, who is having fun being in this piece of garbage film. He's smiling at times when I feel like he should not be.
What the hell am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, this movie was terrible. Okay, so let's get into this. So real quick, I got the Wikipedia page because I was curious to look up some stuff. Guess how much money it took to get Liam Neeson back into the role? Because he said, I remember when Taken 2 came out, he said, even if they do make a Taken 3, I'm not going to be in it. Guess how much money it took?
Millions.
According to Wikipedia, it would take a $20 million salary for the role. $20 million.
What was the budget of this film?
The budget is $48 million. So far, they've made $93 million. So they've already doubled their money at the box office.
So half of their budget went to
paying
Liam Neeson.
Budget went to paying Liam Neeson, which is kind of, although I like Liam Neeson a lot, it was kind of a lost cause. Liam Neeson is sleepwalking through this film. He is not caring at all. He is not even pretending to show any emotion. There is no emotion through him. There is no... During the action scenes, he is literally just going through the motions.
I love when he walks in on his wife dead. His reaction is just kind of like... Oh.
Yeah, he's like...
I guess she's dead.
He just doesn't... he's not showing... They don't... Granted, the movie is so rushed that it doesn't give you time to, like, feel any pain.
It was rushed, but... I actually kind of felt the length. I don't know if you did.
Once the action started, I did. The setup is what was rushed, but when the action starts, it's slow. It's slow, and it's only a 90-minute film. So
it felt longer
this
than
movie,
90 minutes.
so this movie opens on a character who we don't know, nor will we see again, who gets taken to Stuart's office. Now, Stuart. We'll talk about Stuart now. Stuart is... But
you didn't know it's Stuart's office at this point.
You don't know it was Stuart's office at this point, but Stuart is Kim's rich stepdad. He was in the first Taken. He's talked about in Taken 2. In Taken, he was played by Xander Berkeley from... Xander Berkeley from 24. He's also in Terminator 2 and... was the Air Force One with Harrison Ford. He's been in a lot of films. You would definitely recognize him if you've seen him. But he's, the guy's a bit of an older actor. And he also has a very distinct face and voice. The guy that they got to replace him in this movie does not look, nor sound, or even act the same at all. This is not the same character. It's the same name. It's the same identity, but this is not the same character. Mm-hmm. In the first Taken, Stuart, he's the rich stepdad, and he buys Kim all this stuff, and so Liam Neeson feels kind of like crap about it. But he genuinely cares about Kim. When Liam Neeson tells his ex-wife and her husband, Kim's stepdad, he tells them Kim's been taken. They both are in shock, and they both care. And Liam says, you're rich, you're going to give me a plane to France because I'm going to go find her. And he's like, yeah, do whatever it takes, please get her back. In this movie, spoiler alert, he's the antagonist. And he's, in this movie, a manipulative, two-faced, greedy, sociopath. And, warlord, too. It makes no sense.
So what you're telling me, Micah, is that this movie would dare not have perfect... Continuity. That's what you're trying to tell me?
Well, yeah, because Brian Mills, Liam Neeson, was originally a human, and this movie's a robot. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense. He's a Terminator in this one. So,
oh my god.
So, anyways, back to we are only like 3 minutes into the film. So
now
so
to
Stuart,
introduce our villain for Planet Vulcan.
Yeah. So Stuart, the stepdad, his assistant or whatever, is kidnapped by these Russian guys and is taken to his office.
Because of course they're Russian.
Of course they're Russian. And we meet the main bad guy. The main bad guy. This guy looks hilarious. He has a Vulcan haircut straight out of Star Trek, and he could not look any more unintimidating. And he kills them, no big surprise. And I hope you don't mind seeing this I hope you didn't care about this bad guy, because he drops out of the film and doesn't come back until an hour into the film.
Times, but
this bad guy,
you don't see him again until the climax.
He doesn't show up until the climax again. He is gone throughout the whole. He is taken.
By the way, I love the scene when you see him again for the first time when he's looking at those two.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So then we get the most stock opening credits, where we get just filler shots of nighttime LA, from a helicopter view with generic text. It was the most I don't care credits sequence you could get. And then we finally get to Brian Mills, Liam Neeson's character. He is trying to connect some more with Kim. Kim is pregnant. She hasn't told him. And we get awkward dialogue with that. We get
some awesome shots with Liam Neeson and a giant stuffed panda bear.
Yeah, exactly. We get great shots of Liam Neeson and the bear. And he's trying to reconnect with his ex-wife, Lenore. I always forgot her name. What a weird name. Lenore. So, yeah, you know how Lenore was just so unbearably frustrating to listen to in the first one? Well, in this one, she's back in love with Brian. And she says how she's having problems with Stuart, probably because they changed actors. And
this isn't the man I married.
Yeah, this is literally not the guy I married. The guy I married was nice. This guy is a sociopath. So
seriously, what is that other guy doing that they couldn't get him for the role in this film?
I don't know if he's been doing much lately. I don't know. And so
I'm sure he was Taken 3, is this a joke?
Yeah, exactly.
No, sir, this is real.
It's no thanks. So anyway, Lenore and Brian start to reconnect, and then Stuart visits Brian and is look, I know you're trying to get back with my wife.
But just to be clear, they're actually not doing. Liam's just trying to be a friend.
Exactly. Brian's Liam Neeson's I just care about her, and frankly, you're being a crappy husband. He's whoa, stay away from her. So then she ends up in Liam Neeson's apartment, dead on his bed. He walks in and he shows absolutely no emotion. Actually, the emotion was, "Can I go home now?"
First, okay, we need to explain where he was.
Oh, sorry. He got a text from her saying, I need to talk to you. Can you get me some bagels? So Liam Neeson...
Can we have bagels at your place? So he...
Yeah. So he goes and gets hot bagels.
Because this...
Don't worry. The bagels are symbolic. The bagels are arguably the most important part of the whole film. So Liam Neeson gets these hot bagels and then goes back to his apartment and finds Lenore dead on his bed. Now again, everything that we just explained, all this setup happens in a matter of minutes. They rushed this setup so bad. The amount of time that Austin and I have been explaining this is longer than what is happening in the film.
I love how after he discovers she's dead, the cops are there like that.
Exactly. That's the thing. And you've seen this in the trailer. Liam Neeson sees her dead. The cops immediately show in, and he's I didn't do this. Get on the floor. Liam Neeson, of course, beats the crap out of the two cops and escapes from his apartment.
Out the window.
And lands on a dumpster.
And lands on a dumpster on his back.
Yeah. 62-year-old Liam Neeson, I don't know about that. But, so, real quick though, this character, Lenore's the ex-wife, she has been a main character in the other two Taken films, especially Taken 2, actually. She has a bigger role in that.
Isn't she the one who gets
She's the one that gets kidnapped, along with Liam Neeson. Her death should be a pretty big deal. They spend no time on her death, and neither does Liam Neeson's character.
No.
And neither does Liam Neeson as far as acting goes. He shows no emotion. But they just spend no time on this. There is no time to digest this. There's no time to be invested.
There wasn't even really sad music playing or anything.
No! There's nothing.
It's just kind of like...
It's almost immediately followed up with a very poorly shot action sequence, which had a ridiculous climax in which Liam Neeson sneaks into somebody's garage and opens the floorboards
and automatically knows that
the floorboards lead to the sewer. That makes no sense to me, but I guess it did to the writers. So
maybe this was written by that one guy that you love, Skip Woods.
The movie was written by Luc Besson, who's done the other Taken films, I believe, and Robert Mark Kamen. So of course the LAPD thinks that Liam Neeson's the one that killed her, and the head guy from the LAPD, who is the lead inspector of the case, is Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker is kind of awesome in this movie because, like everyone else...
He's like Antonio Banderas in Expendables 3. He just is having fun.
He is. He's having fun. He's not having that much fun, but unlike everyone else, like everyone else, he knows this movie is crap, so he knows not to take it seriously, but unlike everyone else in this movie, he is having fun. He's he is seriously smiling and laughing at times when an inspector would never do that. He is in the crime scene and he's kind of smiling at times, and it's he's the whole time I feel like that's just Forrest dude, I'm getting paid right now. This is awesome. But yeah, so Forrest Whitaker.
Speaking of the crime scene.
Yeah. So Forrest Whitaker goes to the crime scene where Lenore was murdered. Although we don't even know how she was murdered.
Yeah, they explain. Well, when he walks in, there's the knife.
Oh.
And then there's the knife laying there, and then later in the movie he's I found her on my bed with her throat slashed.
Oh, okay. PG-13 piss off. So
yeah, there's not even blood on the knife.
There is, like you would expect, there is not a drop of blood, and that sucks. But Forrest Whitaker goes into this crime scene, and he's looking around, and the bagels that Liam Neeson bought are still there. Forrest Whitaker sits down, pulls out a bagel from the bag, and starts munching on it. And he's smiling the whole time. He sits down and smiles.
Takes a bagel
and just starts
from
eating.
The crime scene and starts eating.
Forrest Whitaker is literally eating the evidence.
And not giving a crap about
this LAPD well-respected inspector is eating evidence. So... Brian starts investigating his ex-wife's death. He finds out this, finds out that, finds out the henchmen who did it. Of course, while this is happening, Forrest Whitaker is trying to track him down. And the police are tailing Kim because they know that Liam is going to contact her. And he does. And it's okay. So he ends up contacting her at her college, which looks a lot like a high school.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
that's probably all they could afford.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely.
It looks like a high
They
school.
had to have filmed that in a high school. So he contacts her, and they're talking real quick, and the police are like, "Crap, Brian Mills is at her college. We need to go there right now." So they go to the school, and as he's walking out, the police see him, and they're like, "It's Brian Mills! Run!"
By the way, just to bring up this point, they're talking in a bathroom.
Yeah, Liam Neeson and Kim are talking in a stall in a bathroom, and it's the first time that they've looked at each other face to face since Kim's mom has been brutally killed. And we just couldn't help but wonder if there was anyone in the stall next to them taking a dump while this was happening.
Well, I mean, what a place to have a tearful reunion,
Absolutely.
The stall in a bathroom.
And a smelly bathroom in a college. Yeah, that's nice. So the police are running after Liam Neeson in these hallways. And so Liam Neeson, this isn't quite as ridiculous as Taken 2 when Kim throws grenades on a rooftop for the sake of making noise. But Liam Neeson takes a grenade, pulls out a grenade, chucks it into a janitor's closet, blows up the janitor's closet, and causes a fire alarm in the school, causing everyone to run out of the classrooms. So in other words, so Liam Neeson can blend into the crowd better as he's escaping. And it works. But that was... He blows up a grenade. He blows up a janitor's closet in a public college.
And he was running by it. How does he know that there's no one in there?
Oh, he doesn't. And I'm trying to... Is this the chase scene where he steals a cop car?
No,
that was before that. Yeah.
That was no, because wait, or no.
It was before that because that's when he gets arrested.
That's when he actually gives up.
Yeah. So we can talk about that. There's an action scene.
But this is so like this movie is so all over the place that we just skipped. Like an entire 30 minutes.
The movie is just a sequence of horribly filmed PG-13 action scenes. And they're so. Well, let's talk about that real quick. There's a scene where.
Before that, we need to talk about the scene because he finds out that she was at this gas station in the middle of nowhere right before.
Yes, she was taken.
But how he figures that out is he gets into the impound lot. By hiding in the trunk of his car. Remember?
Yeah, which made. Did not make
hiding in the trunk of his own car, and then getting out, and then downloading her GPS data.
Yeah.
Like
with the two dumbest cops in the world.
And then I love how, like, when they get to the car that he miraculously escapes from before they get there, the door's like open, and then the dude's like, "Oh, that's weird," and then closes it, and then that's it.
Yeah, they don't even follow up on that. So at one point, Liam Neeson gets arrested. He gets caught, and he gets arrested, and very quickly he takes over and hijacks he overpowers it and he hijacks the cop car. So this is happening, and it's a very boring, terribly filmed car chase. Just I was seriously not paying attention for half of it because it was so boring. And it ends with Liam Neeson going into a building and he backs into an elevator shaft. Now, I couldn't tell what was going on because, again, this is filmed by a man having a seizure.
This is filmed by Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. That's dark. And so he backs all the way into an elevator shaft, which causes a huge explosion.
An extreme explosion.
Like, it goes all the way through the elevator shaft, which had to have killed innocent people.
And then I love how, like, it's exploding, and then Forrest Whitaker is, like, in a helicopter above, and he kind of looks down, and he's like,
Forrest Whitaker's like, that Brian Mills, I want some bagels right now. Which again, we cut later on
during that same, like, I know you said you weren't paying attention, so you probably won't remember this, but during that same chase scene, there's, like, the part where he's going down the wrong side of the highway to get
I remember that, yeah.
And then the truck, like, fishtails or whatever.
And it, like, goes
and then like, it, like, falls off, and then it's, like, I guess, smashing other cars, but the cam is so bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I was so confused about what was going on. Like, what is going on right now? Because it was, like, hitting things, and, like, oh, my God. It gave me a headache.
This movie hurt my head at times. The action scene.
This is worse than Cloverfield.
Yeah, this movie is borderline a found footage film because of how terribly filmed it is. So then we at one point get Forrest Whitaker in a diner, or maybe it's the bagel place, eating bagels and smiling the whole time. He's I love these
right
bagels.
After that chase scene where he blows up the elevator, Forrest Whitaker lands in the helicopter, and then he gets a call.
Yeah, he gets the
from
call.
Brian Mills.
Which, again, this is in the trailer, and, Brian's, I didn't do it, and Forrest, look, I'm sure you didn't, but, you still have to cooperate, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't do this, we'll go after you. And, of course, good luck, and hangs up. And so the Russian henchman that killed
not the main Russian villain. We don't see him.
Not Vulcan Man, but the other henchman who killed the ex-wife. They end up finding Liam Neeson driving, and they smash his car up. Like, they smash it up, and then
he was tailing Stewart.
Yeah, he was tailing Stewart, and then these Russian henchmen come out of nowhere, start smashing up Liam's car, and then they smash his car off a cliff in the desert, We see this car fly off the cliff,
Flip 10 times.
100 times. This is like straight out of Casino Royale, the big car flip like that. Only it's downhill, and then it lands, and then it blows up.
Like a nuclear explosion.
And then the Russian guy in Russian says...
Oh, the best line of the movie.
Good, now let's go get drunk. So they go a couple blocks away to a convenience store.
It's like a gas station. Yeah.
Brian Mills survived with no explanation, without even a scratch on him, and he hijacks a car, and he goes up to the guy that's driving. He's like, I need you to drive me. I need you to take me to this place. It won't be long. So the guy goes to the convenience store where the car that the Russian guys were driving is parked, and he's like, holding the gun to that driver's face. He's like, okay, you can go now. So the driver just leaves.
Doesn't call the cops.
Apparently.
Anything,
so Liam Neeson sneaks into this convenience store while I think it's like 4 guys, I think.
Yeah, there's 4 guys.
They're buying alcohol. And the lead guy, who is supposedly the guy that killed Lenore, he's flirting with the clerk in this pointless scene where the guy has matches out and he's like, did you know that if you have a box of matches, you could draw... What was it? Ducks?
No.
Was it duck? What animal was it?
Something stupid.
Was it squirrels? I can't remember. Let's just say it was squirrels. I can't remember. But he says like, you can draw all these squirrels within a matter of seconds. And she's like, oh, really? And he takes a match out and kind of shapes it into the matchbox to make it look like it's like a radio. And he puts it up to his face and he's like, calling all squirrels. I was like, what is going on right now?
As Liam
Neeson takes, I think, a bottle of Jack, kind of Punisher dirty laundry style, and just beats the crap out of his henchman. And this was one of the better action scenes in the film, but it's still terribly...
Because you could actually sort of tell what was going on.
Because a lot of it was shooting. The shooting scenes are tolerable to watch because those scenes are semi-well shot. But the hand-to-hand scenes...
Because, I mean, it's easier to do a shooting scene with Liam Neeson than it is a hand-to-hand.
Yeah,
exactly. All Liam Neeson has to do there is just stand there and
exactly. The shooting parts were... There was still some shaky cam, no doubt, but they were easier to follow and they were less, pain-inducing. And so he kills them all and he finds out through the main guy that Stewart is the one that sent them. So he waterboards Stewart and finds out, what was it? This scene doesn't make much sense, but basically Stewart is a former business partner with Vulcan Bad Guy. He owes Vulcan Bad Guy a bunch of money, and in the process, Lenore got killed. Let's just say that. Let's not try to make sense out of this.
Well, it's like he owes Vulcan Man money, and he couldn't pay it, so Vulcan Man decided to get back at... That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's his name.
Decided to get back at him by starting to kill his family, and started with Lenore, basically.
So then they're like, oh crap, Kim might be next. Almost immediately, I mean like within a matter of seconds.
Like this is Batman in the third one going back to Gotham.
Exactly, exactly. He got some Bruce Wayne teleportation here. Within the very next scene, along with his old buddies from the first one, which that was one nice thing about this movie, is that they got at least some of the same actors from the first one that were his old buddies, government buddies, to be in this one. And those four, I think it's 4 of them together, they get Kim out of the house and they go to their hideout. And
by stealing her from these stupid cops.
From the worst cops of all time.
That's really easy.
So it's getting towards the climax. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So they basically say, like, okay, so Stewart is going to set up a meeting with Vulcan Man and Vulcan Man's super protected condo.
So now we're going to call him... Remember this scene? They make Stewart call Vulcan Man.
Yeah.
And what is Vulcan Man doing when he...
Okay, so then we get back to Vulcan Man. Again, we have not seen Vulcan Man since the opening scene. This is over an hour into the film. This is our bringing back to this guy scene. Vulcan is sitting back like on a lawn chair, and he is looking down the scope of a sniper rifle watching these two random girls play tennis. And we see the scope point of view where he is aiming the gun at each girl back and forth as they're playing tennis. And he's like, and then he just puts the gun down and then answers the call.
Gets handed the phone.
What?
I love when we were sitting there after that scene. You were sitting next to me and you were like, what?
I don't know if that was like... I don't know if that was just a simple way...
He's evil.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if that was their way of saying this guy is evil, or was it like their way of being like, this guy's got it made. Like, this guy's super rich that he can just aim a sniper rifle at random tennis players and get away with it. I don't know what was the point of that. So they set up the meeting, and briefly, Stewart, who has... all these details about Vulcan Man's hideout. He knows everything. He basically tells Liam Neeson, like, there's these guards in this hallway, and then there's these guards in this hallway, and they're armed with this, and you have to go up this elevator.
To go up this elevator, and it's like,
so,
wow, you know.
Long story short, Liam Neeson goes into the condo, has probably the best action scene in the film. Still a mess to follow, but he fights a bunch of guys. And then he has the main shootout with Vulcan Man, which that action scene wasn't that bad. The problem is that Vulcan Man is in his underwear with the open robe, and it looks ridiculous. and
I love how he had, I couldn't tell because it was so shaky what kind of gun he had.
A big machine gun.
Well, it was some kind of assault rifle, but he's just taking it and he's just like just... This dude is everything.
Mowing down his house. Like, he's mowing down his
trying
condo,
to get this guy.
Trying to get Liam, and Liam just has a pistol. And before that happens, we see Vulcan Man, and this is why he's in his underwear. He was like in a hot tub with these two girls, and he's flirting with them. And then his henchmen, who also have assault rifles and shotguns, they're like just laying down and doing anything.
Doing normal henchmen stuff.
To which I thought, like, you're right, Taken 3. I should be watching John Wick because that's a much better movie. And so, and I was like, I'll just watch the nightclub scene from John Wick. Much better. So Liam Neeson shoots the guy a couple times, and he's like, "You killed my ex-wife." Blah 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 blah. And then the guy's like, "Huh, we have been screwed by the same guy." And it's revealed that Stewart is actually the head guy behind all this, and that Stewart had his wife killed for insurance money. Again,
and then he was going to use Brian to kill the Russians so he can kill two birds with one stone.
Again, this is a huge retcon on the Stewart from Taken 1. A huge retcon. So Stewart takes Kim hostage, drives away. Liam chases after him. They get into... Stewart takes Kim into his private...
we forgot to talk about during the waterboarding scene? We forgot to
I'll bring it back up. Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So Stewart takes Kim to his private plane, and he's like, take off.
These two pilots that apparently are like super loyal to him.
Apparently they are. He's holding a gun to this woman's face. He's like, take off! Like, yes sir, yes sir. And so Liam Neeson in the super fast car, of course,
Porsche.
There's
a lot of product placement.
Absolutely,
I loved when they were in the impound lot, how both their really nice cars were sitting next to each other, and they had like perfect lighting on them and stuff like that, and like whatever.
If I recall, the other ones did that too. And so Liam Neeson, the plane is beginning to take off. Liam Neeson is driving to the plane, and the plane is literally about to get off the ground. Liam Neeson drives into the wheels, which knocks the wheels...
landing gear.
The landing gear, and breaks the landing gear, which causes the plane to fall, like, face down and essentially crash. I question this to some extent. Not saying that him running the car into the plane wouldn't cause damage to the plane, but saying that it would not hurt Liam Neeson in any way, or the car, and that it would work that well as it did.
It wouldn't work.
So then
I also love how, like I understand he wants to get his daughter back, but he knows his daughter is on the plane, and he takes this landing gear out, and this thing like crashes.
Yeah.
and they get like thrown around and stuff. He could have like killed her.
Absolutely, he could have. But like we said, Liam Neeson clearly wasn't caring while doing this film. So we get
I need to get my family.
Yeah, I want my family back. So we finally get the climax, the ultimate climax. Oh. It's a standoff between Stewart.
Like we'll spoil it in a second here, but you know what this climax reminded me of? It reminded me of the climax of Safe.
Only Safe is a much better film.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean, but it's a much better film, and it does it 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
And it has a better payoff because he actually kills the guy. So we have a standoff where Liam Neeson is standing off with Stewart. Stewart has Kim at gunpoint. Almost immediately, Kim elbows Stewart, and Liam shoots him a couple times, and he falls down. And he's alive. And so then Liam Neeson has him at gunpoint. The cops are coming, and Stewart's like, he does this cartoonishly evil laugh. He's like, you hear that? You can't kill me now because the cops are here. Ha 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 ha. Like, he does the most generic bad guy laugh. He's just, ha 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 ha. And Liam is like, yes, they're coming. And I know you're going to get a good lawyer and get out of jail. So I will hunt you down. I will find you. And we both know what I will do. And then
he like knocks him out.
And that's the climax to this trilogy. That is the cap to this very underwhelming trilogy. So then the movie literally cuts to black, to which we thought, is that seriously going to be the end? Well, no, we get a little bit more. Yeah. So then it cuts to like the aftermath, and Forrest Whitaker is talking to Liam Neeson, and Forrest Whitaker says, I know you're the one that didn't. I knew all along that you didn't kill Lenore.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I knew it. I figured it out pretty early on. And he's like, really?
It was the bagels.
He's like, how did you know I didn't kill her? He's like, it was the bagels. It was the.
What is his explanation?
I had to give them credit that the bagels actually had a payoff to them. Because if they didn't, then all that meant was that
what he said
he says because the bagels were hot. When he ate the evidence, he's like, the bagels were hot. And that doesn't make any sense that a man would go out and buy hot bagels and then go home and kill his wife.
Masterful investigation skills for
Which doesn't make any sense because that doesn't necessarily mean he didn't kill his wife. That is amazing. And it was like
he could tell when he ate the evidence.
I'm so glad they actually found a way to have I would like to think that Forrest Whitaker, not caring about this film and just having fun, didn't realize that the bagels were actually a plot device in the film. So while they're shooting this scene, he like sat down and just took one of the bagels and started eating it. And they're like, cut, dude, that's part of the evidence. And he's like while eating, he's like, dude, just put it into the film somehow. Just make it part of the plot. I would like to think that's what happened. So, the bagels is a big part of the detective work. And then at the very last 20 seconds of the film, we go back to the story of Kim being pregnant, and Liam's just like, well, I support you and your boyfriend no matter what. And she's like, we're going to name it after Mom. He's like, that's great. And then the movie's over. It just cuts to directed by, who directed this again? Olivia Megaton. Megaton, that's an awesome name. Not an awesome movie. And that's Taken 3. Wow. One thing I want to bring up real quick, the ADR in this film is so amateur. There's one when Liam Neeson when his character is waterboarding Stewart. Stewart says, "You were screwing my wife." Now, maybe I need to go back and rewatch this to confirm it, but when I was watching this, the movement on that actor's mouth was not screwing. It was the F-bomb. He was saying, it looked like he said, "You were effing my wife." To which I thought, for the sake of this being a PG-13 film, Did they seriously
I
take
thought you
that?
could say it once though.
They already did. Well, they did later on, but I don't think
Wait, when did they say it?
the bad guy, Vulcan Man, he says it.
He does.
Yeah, he says we were both effed by the same guy.
Oh,
But you know what? Even with that said, I think the main reason why I could be wrong, but I don't think
I swear he said we were both screwed by the same guy.
He said I think in a PG-13 film you can't use the F word in a sexual way. I'm pretty sure you also can't say mother effer. You can't say that either in a PG-13. So I'm pretty sure that's why they did it, because you're not allowed to use it in a sexual context. So but that's what it looked like. You see him mouthing. So I thought, for the sake of it being a PG-13 film, did they seriously take that shot and just ADR him saying screwing, as opposed to doing two shots, where one he says you were effing my wife for the uncut version, and another shot where he just says you were screwing my wife? How lazy can you get? That's just pathetic.
Maybe they were paying him by the...
Well, when you give your lead guy half of your budget, I guess you got to do what you got to do to cut down costs.
God.
So would you recommend Taken 3?
No. Oh my God, no.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, it was pretty fun to poke fun at.
Well, it was fun for us. Okay.
Yeah. Look, if you like...
You were making comments as we were driving back. For the average viewer, this film would be so hard to get to...
Even if you liked... I know some people that like Taken 2, and that's fine. If you liked Taken 2, though, I still would have a really hard time believing that you're going to like this one. And if you end up seeing this and you're like, that's great, it's just... This is just so much worse. This is just such
one of those films that left me with a sour taste in my mouth, like Sabotage,
Yeah, I just felt so empty watching this.
What did I just watch?
And it's the RoboCop 3 of the series. It just makes you... It's like, in the sense that when you go back and watch the first one, you just can't help but think, as good as this film is, it ended up with Taken 3. It ended up with RoboCop 3. You know what I mean? It's like, no matter how... I'm not saying that it ruins the first ones, but that thought is always there of like, when the good movie is over, you think, too bad they followed up with that terrible, sequel.
Well, that's the story of movies. I mean, can you go back now and literally watch the original Star Wars without saying, "Hey, look, that whiny guy, Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
he's not intimidating anymore."
Yeah. Whatever. All right, so that's our, us just talking about the whole plot to Taken 3. Don't.
Sorry if we spoiled.
Oh,